Tonight, they're coming by sea and by land, any which way they can get to PNC Park. The Pittsburgh Pirates, they are the toast of the town. Pittsburgh is a baseball town as the Pirates get ready to take on the St. Louis Cardinals, the second-place Redbirds. The finale of a 5-game series, the showdown, and the Pirates have won 4 of the first 5. They look for an incredible 5-game sweep over the St. Louis Cardinals. Greg Brown along with Bob Walk. And Bob, as we take a look at the Pirates and the St. Louis Cardinals, we look at what the Bucs have done so far. Pretty amazing stuff. They've now handed the Cardinals 7 straight losses.
It is an amazing feat, I guess you could call it. Last night, not only did they get a lot of base hits, but they got them at the perfect times. They answered everything the Cardinals had to do. Played very smart baseball. Here you see what my favorite play of the night, Walker moving into scoring position, that go-ahead run on a fly ball to left, and then, of course, he scored on the single up the middle. It's just the type of baseball you see with winning clubs. That's what the Pirates are doing right now, taking advantage of what's given to them.
And what they're doing is really historic as we take a look at the barrel numbers here. The Pirates 65-42. Look at their history since 1911 through 107 games. Again, Bob, this is historic stuff.
Yeah, it is. These numbers really kind of tell the story. When you put up numbers for the first 2/3 of the season, good things are going to happen. Look at 71-60, a couple World Series. You never know. I mean, that's what I'm starting to think about.
Well, it's sounding good, isn't it? The Pirates and the St. Louis Cardinals playing the finale of this 5-game series. The Pirates have won 7 of the 9 games played against the Redbirds, who now trail the first-place Bucs by 2.5. It should be another wild night along the banks of the Allegheny River. The Bucs and Redbirds are next. Broncos were 5-4 winners over the Cardinals last night. They are still streaming into PNC Park. Incredible during the week crowds of well over 30,000. We're talking about historic numbers, what the Pirates are doing through 107 games in terms of wins and losses, and might be historic attendance records in the course of a work week. As we take a look at the Cardinals lineup, Mike Matheny's club has lost 7 in a row. Matt Carpenter, Carlos Beltran, and Alan Craig, who is 7 for 12 lifetime against Charlie Morton. Matt Holliday hits cleanup, then it's David Freese and John Jay with Tony Cruz behind the plate. Pete Cosma, the shortstop, hits 8th, and the pitcher is Joe Kelly.
Let's take a look at Charlie's numbers, brought to you by Chevrolet. Charlie is having a pretty darn good season. Got that ERA in the mid-3s. This will be a little bit of a test for him. Traditionally, he does not fare well against the Redbirds. Hopefully, he'll have it going tonight as Pirates looking for that sweep.
He has allowed 18 base runners over the last 11 2/3 innings, but has won both starts against the Washington Nationals and Miami Marlins. He went just 5 innings. His last time out in Miami, gave up 4 runs, 3 of them earned, in a 7-4 Pirate win. Their only win in Miami. And a strike. It's 1-1. Cardinals, a frustrated group with their offense still not clicking. They did collect 13 hits, but the Pirates came back and beat them last night 8-4. And Pirates winning in all kinds of ways in this series so far.
Yeah, that looked more like the Cardinal team that we've been used to. The way they came out, they hit well with the runners in scoring position. And did a pretty good job getting the base hits.
He's hit well all series. Matt Holliday, that was in on the batter, and Carpenter will be thrown out by Mercer. Charlie Morton came in on Carpenter, and he bounced out to Jordy Mercer. Marte, McCutchen, Talbot in the outfield left to right. Mercer joined by Alvarez on the left side of the infield with Neil Walker and Garrett Jones on the right side. And Tony Sanchez makes his second career start behind the plate, the former first-round pick of the Pirates. Did a nice job in the nightcap on Tuesday, catching his buddy Brandon Compton.
Getting some quality playing time early on.
And ground chuck early on. 2 bouncers to Mercer. Brings up Alan Craig.
What you like to see from Charlie right off the bat. Start getting those ground balls. It's usually a good sign. Means that he's going to have one of those good games. Quick, efficient, get easy outs. If he does get in trouble, he can usually get a couple of double plays to help him out.
His big tests will be here. The 3-4 hitters. Craig showed you those numbers. Lifetime 500 hitter, or 7 for 12 rather, against Charlie Morton, and Matt Holliday is 6 for 18 against Morton. And there's a strike on Craig, who still is 6th in the league in hitting at .316. Holliday awaits his chance, and Morton and the Pirates hoping that doesn't come until the 2nd inning. 79 RBIs for Craig, 3rd most in the league. And inside, almost got a piece of him. Morton has hit 8 batters in just 8 starts. That's tied for 4th in the league.
It's kind of an interesting matchup right here with the Craig's good lifetime numbers against Morton, but Craig is in a bad slump right now, which is going to
swinging bunt, bare hand throw, and he got him. The running bull came on and got Craig with a bare hand. 1, 2, 3 go the St. Louis Cardinals. A couple of routine grounders to short in this play by Pedro Alvarez. The Cards haven't been swept in a 5-game series since 1916. Here is the Pirates lineup, brought to you by Toyota. Starling Marte, a modest 4-game hitting streak going. Then it's Neil Walker. Last night, a solo homer, a couple of runs scored. Really 4 good at-bats from Walker. We'll talk about that. Andrew McCutchen follows, then Pedro Alvarez. Garrett Jones follows Alvarez, and Tony Sanchez is the Pirates catcher. Jose Tabata, Jordy Mercer, Charlie Morton versus Joe Kelly.
There's Joe Kelly's numbers on the season. So he's had just 4 starts. Last start was pretty good. Pitched into the 7th inning. Shutout baseball against the Braves. Pretty good fastball. Throws up in the mid-90s. And has a fine slider. Looking at some of his batting average and slugging percentage opposition numbers, and nobody has done anything off that slider.
Tony Sanchez and Charlie Morton, the Pirates battery, and Kelly and Cruz, Tony Cruz, the battery for St. Louis. Marte. Nice job at the plate. Walk to start the bottom of the 1st last night. Went to 2nd on a ground out. Scored on a base hit with 2 outs. And in the 5th inning, he got that rally started with a bunt single and stole 2nd. Scored the tying run on a sacrifice fly. Marte 4 for 12 in the series. And he's hit safely in 11 straight games against the Cardinals in his 2 years in the big leagues. With a .444 on base percentage versus St. Louis. Joe Kelly, 3rd round pick in 2009 at the University of California, Riverside. 25 years old. Stab, well, knocked down anyway, and recovers. And the underhand toss to first.
Quick reactions. Oh, like it was a mine. Able to knock it down.
Kelly makes this play on the Marte comebacker.
Odd toss, wasn't it?
It looked like he, for initially, like he was going to go after and tag him.
Yeah, what was that all about? Like
a little panic.
He looked at him and then decided to do what he should have just done to begin with, to throw the ball at first.
So Walker takes a strike. Walker came to the plate in the 1st inning last night and hit a comebacker off the mound of the pitcher Adam Wainwright. Deflected to 2nd. He moved Marte into scoring position. Walker homered in his 3rd inning at bat, his 7th home run of the year. He moved Marte from 2nd to 3rd in the 5th inning, and allowing a Marte then to score on the sacrifice fly. And Walker got the 8th inning rally started with a base hit. He scored what turned out to be the winning run. But he is caught looking. 2 down.
That ball settling right over the inside part of the plate, really trying to push everything in there.
Joe Kelly, his 42nd strikeout in 56 innings. Andrew McCutchen 0 for 3 last night. And another comebacker. This time Kelly, well, what the world that's all about. Looking at McCutchen halfway to 3/4 way to first base, then tosses to first, but he gets the job done.
Ball on Root Sports is brought to you by Toyota. Now's the time to go places with Toyota. Visit buyatoyota.com for special offers. And by PNC for the achiever in you. Let's go Bucks.
We are scoreless as we move to the top of the second inning here at PNC Park between the Cardinals and the Pirates. And as if you didn't already know, Andrew McCutchen gets all he can on the field, but he also does the same off of it. And 7 teenagers from Homewood certainly know that. They are part of the YMCA Lifehouse Project, and they were in need of $4,300 to make a trip to Prague. So thanks to McCutchen and Pirates Charities, they were invited to PNC Park yesterday and were presented with $4,300 to complete their travel plans to Russia, where they will sing at the YMCA Global Leadership Conference. So Kutch making his presence felt once again, both on and off the field. And tip your hat to Pirates Charities as well, guys.
Absolutely. And talking to Patty Paytas, Dan, the Senior Vice President of Community and Public Affairs, about that. She went and showed McCutchen that video, and he was duly impressed, and he wanted to help those kids, as you said, and he's going to get them to Prague. That's a really great story. Matt Holliday taps this ball foul.
McCutchen's value to the organization of Pittsburgh goes much beyond that patch of grass out in center field. He really does have a big effect on a lot of things.
The way he handles it all, too, amazes me. It really does. He never gets flustered about all the requests. Incredibly time consuming. He always has time for it. He finds a way to do it with a smile, and like it's no big deal. Now, he is a big deal. The kids, young and old alike. 1-2 on Holiday, who's having a heck of a series, 8 for 14. Fastball missed, 2-2. And as we said earlier, 6 hits and 18 career at bats against Morton. Did he go? Yes, he did. Nice little block there from Tony Sanchez. And the strikeout of Holiday.
Yeah, that curveball that Morton has been throwing, I think, more and more since his surgery. That's a little wrinkle that he's added. I think a lot of these teams are seeing for the first time. Not that he never threw one before, but it's really become his bread and butter breaking pitch. The other stuff's taking a little bit of a back seat.
Do you think, Bob, could that be because now he's confident about his health? Would that have anything to do with it? Now that he's...
I'm thinking that it was probably a game plan to against lefties mainly. I mean, I've seen a lot of those back foot curveballs, and I don't know if that's the reason. It's got to be part of it, but lefties aren't hitting him like they were before he had his surgery.
0-2 on David Freese. And another strikeout on the breaking ball. Not close. He made Freese look silly. A couple of strikeouts to start the second.
And a curveball. He gets a nice swing and a miss.
David Freese follows Holiday's strikeout of one in the zone as John Jay, a left-handed hitter, one of 3 in the lineup tonight against Morton. This is a frustrated Cardinals team. They lost the first 3 games of this road trip in Atlanta. They came into this series with the lead in the division. And instead of getting well, it's gotten worse. The losing streak up to 7 straight, longest under Mike Matheny, and the longest since 2011. They won the World Series 2 years ago. They withstood that long losing streak. Cardinal fans keeping the faith. 2-1, and now it's 3-1. Cardinals will continue this road trip. They'll head to Cincinnati for a weekend series against the Reds, and then they'll host the Dodgers for 4. Jay the other way, and out of play.
As we know, Greg, this situation with the Cardinals that could snowball for them at this time of year. And by the time the rosters expand, you might be toast. They got to nip this thing in the bud, especially with their offense.
That's really something that's not even being considered by members of the media. That ball was in on him and just snuck through. Neil Walker was playing Jay Moore to pull, and even though that ball wasn't hit hard at all, he was jammed on it. He was able to roll it into center.
Well, their offense is like our pitching. Like, if, let's say, our bullpen that's been so solid all year went into a 3-week period where they had an ERA of 5. That's kind of what's happening with the Cardinal offense. I mean, they've quit hitting. There's no home runs. Nothing's going over the fence. And that's why I think that, yeah, you could be a little concerned. We would be concerned if all of a sudden the bullpen would, what would our prospects be right now if the bullpen stopped pitching well? It wouldn't be that great of a scenario, that's for sure.
Well, a liner into right center field. Tony Cruz takes Morton the other way. And runners at first and third.
No, I agree. They could all just start, flip a switch and start hitting again. But I'm sure they've been expecting that switch to be flipped now for a while. Fastball elevated a little bit, and if you're going to hit a two-seam fastball and try to get it in the air, I've said this so many times, you hit the ball the other direction. That's easier. When you try and pull, a lot of times it just goes straight to the ground.
Moves Jay to third. Cruz is single. He's going to be doing the catching most of the time, at least the next couple of weeks, with Yadier Molina on the disabled list. Pete Kozma 0 for 3 last night. He's 1 out of 12 in the series. Shortstop hitting .237. And look out. Runner going to break for the plate. Throw toward the past Morton. And to third. And now Alvarez guns, and his throw is wide. Well, that sequence didn't work well at all for Pittsburgh. It's 1-0 Cardinals.
They took advantage. Ball doesn't get away all that far, but far enough. Sanchez did a nice job of recovering and getting to it.
Looked like he was trying to throw to a spot there.
Looked like he threw it right over the top of the plate. Charlie might have been a little late getting to the plate. At least in that view, it was probably shoulder high, but it was right over top of the plate. And Charlie just didn't get there in time.
So like last night, the Cardinals draw first blood. This time in the second. Back-to-back singles and a wild pitch. Russell Martin, a scheduled day off. Clint Hurdle said today he's going to try and keep it where he doesn't work more than 4 straight. He might even get Saturday night off because he'll catch A.J. Burnett on Sunday. 2-1. And of course, Sanchez catching Morton for the first time. Looked real comfortable last night with Brandon Compton. They worked together a lot at AAA. Tony Sanchez, who has the skills, talking to Jeff Bannister and Clint Hurdle, as good as anybody's in the organization. Bouncing ball to short. That'll do it. A couple of singles and a wild pitch. The Cardinals lead 1-0. tomorrow, 7:05. All fans take home one of these T-shirts Neil Walker is wearing, courtesy of Central Blood Bank. Get to Federal Street before the game. Budweiser Block Party featuring local live music. Plus, you'll meet former Pirate outfielder and Bucco skipper Bill Verdon at the Budweiser Bar. For tickets, go to pirates.com/free shirt Friday. Taking the game in from the river, and a lot of brooms out. There, this day and age, certainly are not many 5-game series. It's a real rarity. And that's one of the reasons why it's been so long that the Cardinals have been swept in a 5-gamer back in 1916 by the Giants at the Polo Grounds. The last time any team swept a 5-game series in the major leagues, the Yankees swept the Red Sox in Boston in 2006. Pirates swept the Giants in San Francisco in a 5-gamer in 1996. As Alvarez dribbles one, and again Kelly has had 3 assists first 4 batters. Joe Kelly.
Get the ball past the pitcher's mound. At least he didn't try to stare down the hitter that time. The first 2 he got, instead of throwing it first, just held on to it, stared at Marte, did the same thing with Kutch.
Garrett Jones takes ball 1. 2 for 3 last night. 3 for 9 in the series. Line drive caught by the second baseman Carpenter. Outstanding play by Matt Carpenter.
Had it played right, got up in the air, made that catch. And how many times has this happened to Jones in the last 2 weeks? A bullet that someone makes a play on.
It's a fabulous catch there by Cardinal second baseman.
Time was leaked very well.
And now Tony Sanchez takes a 98-mile-per-hour fastball away. He was 0 for 3 was Sanchez on Tuesday night, second game of the doubleheader. Fastball in the corner, 1-1. Former first-round pick of the Pirates, 2009, out of Boston College. He said he caught Joe Kelly in the Cape Cod League in 2008. He knows this pitcher. 2-1. Kelly was a closer in college after being drafted by the Cardinals. Made him a starter, and he started 16 games last season as a rookie. Made 24 appearances for the Redbirds. Another fastball, 2-2.
He's got an excellent arm. Very consistent up there. Mid-90s. I think his average on the year is about 94.5.
Full count. Breaking ball this time.
That was the curve ball. The slider is going to be up in the 80s a little bit. It's going to break the same direction but a little shorter. That's his main strikeout pitch.
Top of the would be next if Sanchez can reach. Sanchez 2 for 11 in the big leagues. And he is aboard. For Joe Kelly, 19 walks, 42 strikeouts in his 56 innings of work this season. Mainly out of the bullpen. He turned 25 in June. Again, drafted in the 3rd round. I think, Bob, you would probably like what he did in college. Played a little prank on the media relations folks at UC Riverside. when, you know, they ask him for the bio, any biography information that we might not know about. He said that he was a distant relative of George Machine Gun Kelly, the notorious gangster.
I would have liked that.
Yeah.
Using his head a little bit. Got to keep things light.
What was a question that somebody asked you on the radio about 25 years ago?
Blast. Wanted to know
what would you be if you weren't a baseball player?
Archaeologist.
Yeah.
We went into it in quite detail for a 3 or 4 minute interview.
Blast was impressed.
Yeah, he ran with it.
Yeah, of course he did. 2-0 on Tabata.
If it's on tape, he's got it.
Yeah. Yeah. Reel to reel.
There's not going to be a redo.
Yeah. Right.
Probably was pretty close to reel back in those days.
He's locked in, isn't he? 2-0 the count.
That was a setup, of course. Rooker had come to me earlier.
Oh, no, that I didn't know. Yeah. So Rook.
He tipped me off. He said, "Get something good."
Oh.
So I said, "All right, I'll take care of it."
Two and one on Tabata. Alex Presley has been now sharing a little right field time with Tabata. Travis Snyder is on the disabled list. A little turf toe trouble for Snyder, who was walking without the boot. Said he felt much better today. 2-1 the count. Tabata calls time. Tabata 1 for 8 in the series. He is 1 for 4 with a couple of walks. Lifetime against Joe Kelly. Chop foul. Tony Sanchez, the 2-out walk. First base runner for the Pirates. The Cardinals score on a wild pitch. Last night the Pirates came back trailing 2-0 early. They got a run in the bottom of the first. The Cardinals added a run in the third. Pirates answered. Same thing in the fourth inning.
And that was really an important part of last night's game, the answering. Every time the Cardinals scored, which they got some hits last night. But the Pirates always had an answer.
Did he go? No. Chad Fairchild is the home plate umpire. He appealed to Jeff Kellogg, who said no swing, 3-2.
Just getting to about where home plate was before he was able to stop it and bring it back.
And Eric Cooper at second, Paul Schreiber at third. Full count. Bounced foul. Count remains 3-2. Tony Sanchez will head back. Last time out for Kelly against Atlanta in Atlanta. He went 6 1/3 innings of 7 hits, shutout ball. It's his third start of the season. His first start was July the 6th against Miami. He went 6 innings, gave up 4 runs. And his second start at Wrigley on the 12th of July, 5 1/3, a run, 3 hits. Another foul ball. A fastball to Tabata.
He's young.
No problem for Tony Sanchez. Checking in on the fans, making sure everybody's all right.
Thumbs up.
It's fine. Oh, yeah.
I think the fans have had a good time the last few days.
Gosh, how loud were they? After the Pirates took the lead and Martin went back to the dugout, the rest of the team went back to the dugout. That's standing O. And there's ball 4. And when Melanson came in, that gate opened, and he came in, it was as loud as I've ever heard this place. And it just seems to be getting louder and louder.
And to me, last night's game was the most kind of draining, emotional to watch of the 4 previous games that we've had. It was just, I guess it was because it was they score, we score, they score, we score. And it was like the whole night. After the 9th inning, I was exhausted just watching that game last night. And fans going crazy, and I know they had to be exhausted. And I just started thinking after the game, this is it. This is what we've been waiting for. This kind of a game.
When they built this ballpark, we've been saying this for how long? And this was the vision they had going back to the Three River Stadium days in the early 70s, when that was supposed to be an open-ended ballpark then, when they left Forbes Field. And then they built this gem. All they needed was a contending team, and that's what they've got. Mercer now. He takes a ball. Can the Pirates answer in the bottom of the second? Mercer did not start last night. He played in the nightcap on Tuesday and was 2 for 5 with an RBI and a double. One ball, one strike, the count on the Pirates shortstop tonight. Jordy Mercer had an 11-game hitting streak snapped on Saturday, making his 33rd start at shortstop this season. One ball, one strike, a couple of walks after 2 were retired. And in the dirt, and it's 2-1.
Now that was the hard slider that he throws at 85 mile an hour. That doesn't give up many hits. The batting average on that pitch is about 170.
I think I heard you talking to Stan on the pregame about some of the keys to victory for the Pirates. He talked about maybe laying off
that
the
pitch
breaking
right
ball,
there.
right?
Yeah, when I looked at his numbers earlier, what the league hits off his 4 pitches, I mean, that just leaps off the page at you. I was looking at the slugging percentage, and the league slugging percentage off his changeup, curveball, fastball, all well over 400. Slugging percentage on that slider is 174. Nobody hits it. Don't swing at it. Now, easier said than done, but I'm sure that's a little bit of a game plan, and everybody has these numbers nowadays, so
not a secret.
The Pirates are well aware of it.
Right. There's another breaking ball in the dirt. One of the things that Clint Hurdle talked about last night after the game was that since the homestand began against these Cardinals, the approach at the plate has been much better. You don't see these guys for the most part. Now Mercer could end up swinging at a pitch down the dirt, but for the most part, the Pirates are not swinging at pitches completely out of the zone. Being patient, getting their pitches. Now it's 3-2, so will Kelly throw the fastball here to Mercer? Pitcher's on deck.
Yeah, Mercer has to expand his strike zone right now.
With the pitcher.
With pitcher on deck.
And there's ball 4.
He couldn't do it there. That would have been ridiculous to swing at that. But with the pitcher on deck and 2 outs, runner in scoring position, you're not just, okay, I gotta hit a strike. You might have to hit a ball. You don't swing at something way out of the strike zone, but you have to widen it a little bit. If it's a couple inches outside, you got to go at it. You can't just take your walk and let the pitcher now have the responsibility of trying to knock in the run with 2 outs. And that's one of the nuances of hitting in that 8 spot. At times it's not easy because of things like that.
Charlie Morton hasn't had a hit in almost 2 years. He's 0 for 13 this season. Off the fastball, 0-1. Morton hitless in his last 26 at bats. Now, of course, an injury shortened 2012 campaign. He only had 13 at bats last year, but his last hit came in Phoenix against the Diamondbacks September 20th, 2011. He has only 10 career hits and 150 at bats. So highly unlikely that Morton would drive in a run here with 2 outs. And now he's in the hole, 0-2.
That's the pitch he wanted to hit. It was out over the plate away. Not going to jam and be able to get the head of the bat to it. Well, that's the one you hope you can kind of line out toward right center a little. There it is. And now he's probably going to get that hard slider down and away, and good luck hitting that one.
fastball.
Tried to throw it by him. Took a chance. Of course, the hard slider down and away is a chance, too.
In the dirt?
Yeah.
Get away?
We saw exactly what happened when the Cardinals were hitting.
Something to think about for sure.
No guarantees.
Especially if Tony Cruz is catcher. Breaking pitch missed.
Curveball that time. That's the way you can really tell the difference between the two pitches. Curveball, a little bit bigger break and a lot slower. Probably able to control that a little bit better because he's not trying to throw it so hard.
One-two pitch. 28th pitch of this inning. He threw only 8 in the first, but he gets Charlie Morton and keeps the Pirates off the board for now. 1-0.
On Root Sports is brought to you by Barrel Automotive. We're driven to be better. And by Levin Furniture and the all-new Levin Mattress Stores. For a great deal on a new bed, shop Levin's. Let's go Bucks!
Pirates Cardinals. Finale of this 5-game series. Charlie Morton gave up the run in the second. Back-to-back 2-out singles, and then the wild pitch after he struck out the first 2 batters.
Yeah, we were talking about Charlie and his curveball, about how he's been able to throw that a lot, very effective since the surgery. And of course, you see a couple of 2-strike curveballs that he got the strikeouts with. Take a look, Greg, at this graphic that the Gypsies put together down in the truck. The usage is up 51%. Opponent batting average 0.59. Whiff percentage, those are swings and misses. Up well over 40% from 23%. Definitely right there you can see the difference that curveball is making. It's much more effective for whatever reason since his surgery.
So not only is he throwing it more, but with good reason, because he's getting a lot of outs with it.
He's getting swings and misses on it. The whiffs. I mean, you're talking 4 out of 10. Swing and a miss. That's nice to know before you throw it.
He's facing his mound opponent, Joe Kelly, 1 for 10. Two and two. Kelly, then Carpenter and Beltran. Morton making his 9th start since coming back from Tommy John surgery. He strikes out Joe Kelly. Two and 7 lifetime and 11 career starts against the Cardinals with an ERA of 6.17. His last 5 starts against St. Louis, he's gone 0-4. Last time he won was at Busch Stadium, April of 2011. He beat Kyle Loesch.
That was the old ligament, correct?
This is
his old ligament was 0-4.
The new Charlie. The new Charlie is 3-2 with a 359. Matt Carpenter. 1 ball, 1 strike. Carpenter bounced to short in the first inning, starting the ball game off. Breaking ball. 1-2. So far, the left-handed hitters tonight are 1 for 3 against Morton. They came in hitting .308 against him. Righties .242. Held off there. 2 balls and 2 strikes on Carpenter. Morton's first start for the Pirates this season was June the 13th against the San Francisco Giants. Had the elbow surgery June 14th last year. And another strikeout. Carpenter leaves mumbling to himself or to Chad Fairchild. 2 down.
And the pitch is a good strike right on the inside corner. No doubt about that one.
Here's Carlos Beltran. Ball 1. 36 years old. Former 2nd-round pick of the Kansas City Royals in 1995. Carlos Beltran takes a ball 2-0. Heck of a career. Takes 3 balls, no strikes. Beltran in his 2nd year with the Cardinals. Signed as a free agent. And there's a strike, 3-1. And the Pirates shift on him. Well, they keep essentially 2 infielders on the left side. You see Mercer just on the other side of second, the third base side, and that's Alvarez at the shortstop position. And that's hit towards center, and McCutchen back. Nearing the wall. Makes the catch. Cardinals go down in order. Well done by the Bucco Gold Glove center fielder. It is 1-0 St. Louis. Fireworks night coming up. The Pirates take on the Rockies this Saturday night. Afterward, it's a 7:05 start. And it's brought to you by First Energy Solutions. It's also an Eaton Park Scratch and Win Saturday. All fans get a scratch card good for prizes from Eaton Park. For tickets, go to Pirates.com. Game 2 of that 3-game series against the Colorado Rockies. Showdown of the top 2 home run hitters in the National League. Pedro Alvarez, the leader. Carlos Gonzalez is second. Francisco Liriano will be on the mound Saturday night against lefty Jorge De La Rosa. Garrett Cole tomorrow night. A.J. Burnett on Sunday. Garrett Cole looking for his 6th win tomorrow night. You know he's loving this action here. Playoff race.
The second time now through the lineup. Everybody has got a good look at Kelly. Let's do some damage. Marte not sure about that call. Didn't like it. Okay, it's over with. Well, you got a hit. See that ball right at the very bottom of the strike zone. That definitely a strike. Got a lot of fastballs. You can pretty much bank on the fact you're going to get at least 1, probably 2 fastballs to hit every at bat.
In that case, you just go up there thinking that if you're a hitter.
Well, I think that you have to, definitely set up for that. Got to be aware of that he has that good slider,
but going up there knowing that's a little bit of an advantage, knowing you're going to get one, right?
For sure. Well, he's proud of it tonight. I mean, he's pumping them in there. Say 6, 7 out of 10. I haven't been writing it down, keeping score or anything, but that's what, just watching the game, I'm seeing a lot of fastballs in that strike zone. That's not one. 50-50 this at bat.
Joe Kelly, his last time out, his manager Mike Medini said it was very, very impressive. Maybe the best he's ever seen him throw. Talking about Matheny. Everything aggressive in the strike zone. The slider, curveball, changeup, as good as he has seen. And the numbers would bear that out against the Atlanta Braves. Kelly was in the running for a spot in the rotation in spring training and did not pitch well at all. So most of this season he's been out of the bullpen. Another foul ball, just got a piece of it. Kelly has faced the Pirates 3 times in relief this season. 2 scoreless on April the 15th. A scoreless inning on the 26th. And he suffered the loss on April the 27th. And trying to avenge that a little bit here against the Pirates. As the Bucks touched up Joe Kelly in that game back on the 27th in St. Louis. Buccos won that game 5-3. And in the dirt.
Opponent batting average is through the lineup. Now, he hadn't had that many starts this year, so that's kind of a small sample size, but just looking at that, it looks like it's Joe Kelly making the adjustments, not the hitters. At least, has he had 5 starts this year?
This is his 5th, yep.
4 starts.
3-2 on Starling Marte.
Nice little cluster down around the knees. Hadn't brought anything upstairs yet to start.
Another foul ball. Good battle going on here.
Making him work. You would think at some point he's got a 95-mile-an-hour fastball. He would take a shot at the top part of that strike zone. See if he could get a swing and a miss, pop fly. He is really concentrating at the knees at this point.
This time the foul tip into the mid of the catcher.
Stayed downstairs and beat him.
3 strikeouts for Joe Kelly.
That last one probably would have been called a ball. That was a little bit on the low side. It's a nice play by Cruz holding on to that one.
Walker struck out looking his first time up.
It was an 0-2 changeup that he ended up caught looking on. I think he thought it was going to stay inside or move inside. Probably looked like a breaking ball when he saw it was an off-speed pitch. But it fluttered back toward the strike zone a little bit, caught the corner.
Center. Jay. 2 outs. Walker 0 for 2. A strikeout and a fly out, and Joe Kelly once again retires the first 2 men as he did in the first inning, 1, 2, 3. In the second inning, the first 2 before walking 3 straight. And now he opposes McCutchen for the second time. McCutchen bounced back to the mound in his first inning at bat. 1 for 7 lifetime against Joe Kelly. Strike 1. Bucko fans enjoying coming out to PNC Park to watch this guy play once again. He's hitting .360 in his last 23 home games. He is 6th in the National League in home batting average. McCutchen hits .341 here in his home yard. Check. 2-1. Kelly has given up 7 home runs. It's covering 58 innings, just under 58. Two and 2. And McCutchen reacts. Usually when he makes it just outside that dirt circle with a walk, it's probably not that he's thrilled with the call.
Looked like it caught the bottom of the strike zone.
Bat toss. 2 and 2. And pops this one up. On the infield, third baseman Freeze puts it away, and the Pirates go down 1, 2, 3 through 3 innings. Cardinals lead the Bucks 1-0.
on Root Sports is brought to you by Day Automotive. We're going to make your day. Let's go Bucks.
1-0 St. Louis on to the 4th inning on this day in history, brought to you by Day Automotive. 2009, Andrew McCutchen, the rookie, homers 3 times, drives in 6 runs, leads the Pirates to an 11-6 win over the Washington Nationals at PNC Park. McCutchen, first Pirate rookie ever to go deep 3 times in one game. Thanks to Day Automotive, we're going to make your day. 3-homer day for the then rookie Andrew McCutchen. And a curtain call. He has been thrilling them ever since. 3-time All-Star.
As we were saying earlier, too, you got to remember that it's not just the stuff that he is doing on the field for the Pirates. He's just immersed himself in the Western Pennsylvania, Pittsburgh community. He's the man. Pirates are so fortunate to be able to lock him up with that contract. Great player, great leader, great person.
He has become the face of the Pirates, and to many the face of Major League Baseball.
Yeah.
And getting deserved national attention. McCutchen and the Pirates. MLB Network is here. ESPN was here last night. Doing all kinds of features on McCutchen and others. Running this week, and there's ball 4. Leadoff free pass to Alan Craig. First walk for Morton. A dozen walks so far this season for Morton in 46 innings to go along with 37 strikeouts. Here's Matt Holliday, a double play candidate if there ever was one. But again, very good numbers against Charlie Morton. And he is 8 for 15 in the series. Left side and through, a base hit. First and second with no one out.
He got that ground ball from Holliday that you're looking for the ground ball. It just happens to be in that hole. It's something that happens every now and then with Charlie. He's so good at getting the ground balls, but you can't ever, guide him to where you need him. But now he's got Freese up there. Another perfect candidate to hit a ground ball at somebody and get 2 outs.
Holliday's hit into more double plays than any player in baseball. David Freese is tied for 3rd in the National League. He's hit into 17 twin killings. 2 on, nobody out, a 1-0 Cardinal lead.
Greg, do you think the hitters see that glare just like we do from the camera view? I mean, that's got to be.
It sure looks like it's got to be a nuisance at least.
No, they're not. A little bit. The camera we're looking at is up on the screen. It's a little higher than they are, but at some point, you would think that they would have a little problem with that. But I have never seen anybody really complain and step out.
Base hit to right. This is going to load the bases.
Freese guarding against the double play. They're really committed to going the other direction, so he wouldn't put the ball on the ground. The ball inside. The swing, it was an inside-out type swing. Really kept his hands inside, close to his body. Concentrated on hitting the inside half of the baseball that was closest to himself, and was able to just kind of push it out there. But you're not going to hit very many ground balls using that approach. You're not going to drive the ball for extra bases very often doing that either, but it's a little bit of a balance. You're trying to stay away from the ground ball.
Morton now has his work cut out for him. Nobody out, bases loaded, trailing 1-0. Infield at double play depth with John Jay, who singled to center field at the plate. Jay 5 hits in 13 at bats in the series and 4 for 10 lifetime against Morton. No grand slams yet in his career. 8 for 24 lifetime. John Jay. One ball and 2 strikes. It all started with a walk to Alan Craig. Matt Holliday had the ground single through the left side. Freese a line single the other way. Jay has hit safely in 5 straight games. 7 hits his last 19 at bats. Two and 2.
Just missed. And that would have been a big pitch to get a strike call on. You can watch the location. It's just going to slide inside a little bit.
Hits him. It is 2-0. John Jay leads his club in that department. He's been hit 9 times, and it is the 9th man that Morton has hit, and this is 9th start.
When he tries to come inside to left-hand hitters with the fastball, I know several of the 9 that he's hit have been those fastballs that he misses by a bunch, like that one.
Ray Searage has not had to do a lot of this with his starters.
It's almost like he just hooks his fastball sometimes way in.
John Jay gets the RBI, forcing in Craig.
It's a kind of a tough situation now. 2 runs in, bases loaded, nobody out. Now you're on the danger of letting the ball game start to get away from you. Pirates are still looking for their first hit on offense.
Tony Cruz singled to right center field in the second. Oh, 0-1. Cruz was 0 for 4 last night. 4 ground ball outs, 2 back to the mound. One of them did produce a run. Lined into the seats the other way. Count 0-2 on Tony Cruz. Waited and fouled it off. Still 0-2.
No, he did wait a long time. He saw that curveball very well. He was able to wait till the last second just to kind of spoil that pitch. He didn't really mean to foul it off. He meant to hit it, but he didn't pull the trigger till the last second.
He's played in only 30 games. He has just 60 at bats.
If he's waiting that long, you would think that something running up on his hands would be effective. Goes off speed again, and Cruz able to stay back long enough and reach it.
Now Tony Sanchez wants to discuss things here with Charlie Morton. Wonder if doesn't make the suggestion about coming in on Cruz here. Craig has scored. Holliday, Freese, Jay the runner, still nobody out. And a chopper toward third, maybe a play at the plate. Stepping on the bag, throws to first, and they get the double play. Alvarez decides to step on the bag and throw to first to get 2. Run in, it's 3-0.
Wow. Nice play, Pedro, and I was a little worried because I didn't think this was going to be a double play ball. So I was thinking, hey, go home, stop the run if you're just going to get one out. But he committed to getting 2 on it, and he made it happen. You gave up a run, but you got 2 outs, and the way this inning has gone, that's not a bad trade. But if you were only going to get 1 out, definitely you wanted to come home with the ball. A double play, yeah, you'll take that.
Now the key for Charlie Morton, of course, is to get this man, make that double play meaningful. If they decide maybe to pitch around him, you got Joe Kelly on deck. Well, I guess throwing a strike.
I think he'll be very careful with him with down by 3 runs.
Turn towards second and
I think he
stepping
just
off the
didn't want to
mound.
make that pitch. That was his way of stepping off and rethinking the situation.
Two and one. Tony Sanchez with the block.
And with 2 outs, you're not really worried about Jay stealing anywhere. So giving that bubblegum good working over this inning.
2 and 2. By the way, we'll talk to Ray Searage in the bottom of this 4th inning. Get his take on Charlie Morton tonight. What a job Ray Searage has done. So proud of his pitching staff. Why not? Best ERA in baseball.
You know, they have general managers of the year, managers of the year. Why do they have coach of the
Pitching
year?
coach of the year. Let's start it.
Yeah.
Let's start the
We
campaign.
can just say coach of the year. We don't have to.
All right.
You don't have to distill it down. So you're in competition with hitting coaches, and they're just coach of the year award.
Up the middle, a base hit. Not careful enough. They decide to pitch to Pete Kozma, and he burns them with the pitcher on deck and first base open. It's 4-0.
It's a big run. Clutch 2-out hit by the Redbird shortstop. Those are the kind of things that the Cardinals have excelled at this year. And they haven't been excelling at that over the last couple of weeks. They're in an offensive slump. But for the most part this year, coming through with runners in scoring position, that's been their calling card. That's just what they do. That's why they're having a great year. They don't steal a lot of bases. There's not a lot of running going on. They're not going to hit a lot of home runs, but they're going to get a lot of base hits like that.
It's 0-2 on Joe Kelly. John Mabry, the former Cardinal and current Redbirds hitting coach. There we go. Morton on the first, and not in time to get Kelly. Boy, was he flying down that line. Base hit for the pitcher. Infield hit for Joe Kelly.
Well, he tried to bunt for a base hit with 2 outs and a man at first. You know he thinks he can run. And I guess he was right. And Morton had to come a long way to get that ball. It wasn't like it was out toward the mound.
Now the batter, Matt Carpenter, is the 8th man to hit in the inning. Carpenter 0 for 2. This inning started with a walk to Alan Craig. And 2 straight hits to load the bases. Jay hit by the pitch, the double play. Pete Kozma singles on the 3-2 pitch to bring home another run. 1 ball, 1 strike. Six hits for the Cardinals, leading at 4-0. Now it's 2-1 on Matt Carpenter, and Morton no doubt laboring here in the 4th.
72 pitches.
Bounce to short, and the toss to second. 6-4. 31 pitches that inning. We will talk to Ray Searage when we come back. Bucks down 4. We mentioned Ray Searage kind enough to join us now. Pirates pitching coach. Ray, looks like Charlie just looking for a little bit of rhythm, and once he gets that, pretty confident. And the way this team's been going this year, it's like you never know what's going to happen. The offense could jump up and score you 5 runs right now.
Exactly. I wish the score was in reverse right now. But Charlie's having a little bit of problem finding his rhythm in the stretch. In the windup, he's okay. He's a little jumpy out of the stretch. We talked about it, especially in that situation where he had bases loaded. You know, he just settle over the rubber, get your timing going, make sure you get that stride. When he rushes down the hill, his arm is late. So that's what we talked about, and hopefully we can correct that as the inning goes on.
Great. Charlie's had great success with that curveball this year with 2 strikes compared to years past. He's throwing it a lot more. He's getting way more swings and misses. Is it the same curveball that he's always thrown, or is he doing something different with it?
Well, basically what he's trying to do right now is keep his fingers on top of the ball and finish it out and then down and across. At times he has a tendency to almost like doorknob it, okay, and come around and come underneath it, and it still has a little bit of a break, but it's not as quick, and it doesn't have that bite at the end. So we're trying to make sure that he stays on top of the ball and behind it, and make sure that he gets out in front and then finishes that pitch down and across. And we've seen that a couple times, but also I saw a couple times where he doorknobbed it.
It has certainly been a very effective pitch for him this year, but there's another pitch that has kind of messed him up a couple times this year, and it got him again that inning. It seems like a couple of times a game where he tries to come in on left-hand hitters,
right,
with a fastball.
Yeah.
He'll miss by 1.5 feet and hit somebody.
Yeah,
like he hooks the ball or something.
Right. If you see, I don't mean to cut you off, Bobby.
No. Please do. Please do.
Pitching coaches, when they haven't thought, they got to spit it out. What he has a tendency of doing is that arm path comes across his chest when he wants to get it in there, and that's where he ends up hooking it or carrying it over in deeper than he wants to. If he just stays on top and gets in there, and we worked on it in his previous pens, is that once he stays on top of it and drives that sucker right on down into there, inside to the left-hander, it has angle and it's got a little jump to it. But when he comes across the chest as opposed to out and then finishing down and across, that's when, it's a lot better that way as opposed to coming across and cutting it off.
Health-wise, he's totally back, it looks to me. He's going 95, 96 a couple of times this season. Definitely his stuff is right back as good as ever, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, and the biggest thing is he's going to go through these speed bumps every now and then of timing and rhythm. We're still trying to get him into a consistency of the timing and the rhythm on the mound, so this way the feel of the pitches become more natural. He doesn't have to think about it so much. The guy has worked his tail off, and he's strong as an ox. And once he gets to the feeling where more is not better, and I could just stay within myself and just execute the pitch, he's going to be better off for it. But he has a tendency to want to do more with the pitch or do more with his delivery to try to force the pitch into a certain area that way.
Morton aside, how proud are you now? You're 4 months into this season. You got the best ERA in baseball.
You guys are killing me. The thing that's beauty of it is I'll look at it at the end of September. All right.
Too early to gloat.
Yeah, I don't. Honestly, and I mean this sincerely from my heart, I do not look at stats right now or anything that way. Right now, I take one game at a time and watch each performance from each guy. And then we try to just critique. If we need to work on something, we do it. But it's very minimal. We're not going to go crazy over something. If a guy has a bad outing, we're going to just, reconstruct him or anything like that. I just take every performance that they do, starter or reliever. We just keep an eye on them, make sure that everything is going well. That way their delivery, the feeling of their arm, their body, their legs, and, to push through these last 2 months. And so far, so good.
Well, Ray, the thing about it, as you say, Jeff Locke, for example, shortest outing of the year, but the bullpen picks him up. That's the way it's been all year.
Yeah, and Jeff had one of those games. There's no way you go, this is it, this is that. No, it's not that. It's just he had one of those games where he was not on, he was out of sync. If you notice, the pace of the game was slow. It's like watching paint dry,
No.
and because he was thinking so much about trying to manufacture stuff. He knows that he didn't have his best stuff. He didn't feel great. His command inside to right-handers was, spotty at best. And the kid tried to do it, but he slowed things way too down. If you just keep the tempo going, you could use that 75% and pitch with that 75% as opposed to adding stuff or try to overthink yourself into situations.
Ray, you've been a major league player. You've been a long-time coach since your playing days, since you pitched in the big leagues. You've been around a lot of good teams. How special is this 2013 edition of the Pirates?
I am a very lucky man. I'll tell you that right now. And sometimes I get choked up about it because I have a pitching staff and also support group from within the organization that helps make my job that much easier and makes these guys consistent. And I am a very, very lucky man right now. And this is what we work for. We've come a long way, and to watch these guys perform and to compete out there, it just it really warms your heart big time.
Well, Ray, as a fan watching these games, we can see in that dugout. You can see when pitchers come back into that dugout, almost regardless of what they did the previous inning, when they're out of the hugs. I talked to one of our cameramen today. He said, you can't believe how many hugs are going on in that dugout.
We're family, and I don't mean to coin that phrase from Pops, but we are. We're close-knit. We're together. We pull for each other. Everybody is in the same direction pulling that rope. And, it's a credit to Clint who started this. And as a coaching staff, we're projecting it even further than, the words that Clint says. And we're all pulling together. We're all in this together. And it's really a great feeling.
Ray, finally, thank you so much for being with us. But we can't let you go without asking about what you've got written there on your cap.
It's my mom. She was she had knee surgery, knee replacement. She's 85 years old, and she's doing pretty good. And I just wanted to send her, you know, that I love her and thinking about her. That's all. And I appreciate the kudos from you guys.
No, that's great stuff. We thank you, Ray. You're the best.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Ray.
Ray Searage. Ricky Horton said to say hi, by the way. Your old buddy. Yeah, former Cardinal who is a color analyst for the Cardinals. Thanks so much, Ray.
Thank you.
Ray Searage, he really is the best. He says how lucky he is. How lucky are the Pirates to have that guy as their pitching coach.
He's a humble man.
Oh, my. Ground ball by Sanchez. 1, 2, 3 go the Pirates. A strikeout, a foul out, and a bouncer to short. And we've played 4. It's 4-0 Cardinals. Finale of the 5-gamer. And the homestand, of course, will continue over the weekend and then next week. Here's tonight's Allegheny Health Network injury update. Cardinals' Chris Carpenter has been on the DL since February. And a rehab assignment stopped after feeling numbness again in his right hand. He last pitched in October of last year. Thanks to Allegheny Health Network. And it sounds as though they won't come out and say it, but very unlikely that Carpenter will be returning.
Has been that long, and it's not looking good, is it?
Had that last rehab shut down. Ray Searage, thanks again to the Pirates pitching coach. And we give a shout out to his mom, as he said, recovering from knee replacement surgery. Searage, who has been in the Pirates system for a while. This is third full season as the Pirates pitching coach. His 36th year of professional baseball and his 11th with the Pirates organization. He was a Cardinal 22nd round pick in 1976, Ray Searage. Made his big league debut with the Mets in 1981. Once traded for catcher Jody Davis. 0-2 on Carlos Beltran. You heard Pirates pitching coach talk about the rhythm for Charlie Morton in particular in the stretch. He's gotten Beltran twice. Two and two.
Yeah, there's another thing too, Greg, that I've seen with great pitchers, so-so pitchers. Sometimes there's a team that you just cannot have success against, and really you can't explain it as far as control or making bad pitches, good pitches. It just, if something can go wrong, it does go wrong. When you do have one of those off days where you're not throwing the ball where you want to, it seems to be against them. The Cardinals may be that team for Charlie.
Line line drive just past Jordy Mercer. 2-2 pitch, a single for Beltran. Back to the stretch.
7th hit. There's been a few that a swing and bunt, a few ground balls snuck through the infield, but that one definitely was hit very well. Well, double plays behind Charlie tonight.
Greg walked his first time up.
Definitely due for one killing.
Just a bouncer hit through the right side. Another hit. First and second.
Well, this guy's just, it's like they're playing tennis. And they look for the hole, they look where the defense is, and they try and hit the ball through the hole. Is there any doubt he's trying to hit the ball right there like he was playing Pepper? And it was the guy at the end of the line. It was his turn to get the ball. So he just kind of punched it that way.
8 singles to 8 different batters. John Mabry liking what he sees here as Matt Holliday grounded the ball through the left side of the infield and hits this ball to the right side, and they'll just settle for one.
Definitely a game plan. Now Holliday is cleanup hitter. He's not trying to drive the ball out of the ballpark. All he was trying to do was push that ball on the ground the other direction.
Second-year skipper Mike Matheny. And his barbecue is busy. Infield in and hit again. That one probably stung. David Freese hit by the pitch to load the bases.
A two-seamer just ran inside. And those two seams might have left a mark. Nothing good.
Morton has now hit 10 batters. He and Julio Teheran of the Braves and Ian Kennedy now of the Padres, each with 10 to lead the league. And with the left-hand hitter John Jay at the plate and the bases loaded, the infield is in. Don't see that too often. 0-1. Jay has singled to center and has been hit by a pitch. Scored a pair. Scored on a wild pitch in the second. And he scored on a Pete Kozma single last inning. 0-2. Pirates bullpen is going to start to loosen up. Morton is due up third in the bottom of the 5th. Jeanmar Gomez. Still 0-2 on Jay. Charlie Morton, you see there 86 pitches, 1 out into the 5th inning. I mentioned coming into this start, Morton had allowed 18 base runners over his previous 11 2/3 innings, but won those 2 games. Last time out in Miami, the one game the Pirates won 7-4. Morton went 5, allowed 9 hits, 4 runs, 3 earned. 2 starts back in D.C. Gave up 3 runs and 6 2/3 on 6 hits. One ball, 2 strikes on John Jay. Right-hand hitter Tony Cruz on deck. A strikeout of Jay.
Boy, that was pretty crucial. Made a nice pitch. Time he had to. Infield is in. They're not looking for a double plays. You can't get two with one swing. You got to go for that strikeout, and he did. He got it right at the knees.
Now he faces Tony Cruz. After striking out Jay, Cruz is 1 for 2. Hit into the double play last inning, a chopper to Alvarez. Ball 1. Cruz makes his 14th start behind the plate. Strike. 1-1 on the Palm Beach, Florida native, Tony Cruz. In his second full season with the Cardinals. Morton looking for the final out. Keeping the Cardinals within sight. And tapped left side. Shortstop Mercer on to first. Somehow Morton kept them off the board. Youngsters 14 and under get one of these Pedro Alvarez replica Sunday alternate jerseys thanks to People's Natural Gas. And as always, we invite you to come out early. That number on Cochran Family Fun Zone just outside the ballpark on Federal Street. And after the game, kids are invited to run the bases here at PNC Park. Go to Pirates.com for tickets. Pirates Rockies, and all kids 14 and under with those Pedro Alvarez Sunday alternate jerseys.
Pretty good timing wearing those jerseys on Sunday.
Yep.
Throwback to
yep.
glory days.
Charlie Morton back in the dugout.
Looks like the glory days. Maybe here again. A rough game so far tonight.
But who knows the way this season has gone. You cannot count them out. It is the 5th inning. Pirates look for their first hit. They went quickly in the 4th against Kelly. Tabata to Mercer, then the pitcher spot. Tabata walked in the 2nd. And a liner to right. There's the first hit. this right field position has so much scrutiny on it. There was no doubt that Neil Huntington was trying to add a bat and had to be looking at that, you would think, right field or corner spot. And now that no deal has been made, Bob, Tabata, Presley, Snyder, and maybe a guy like Andrew Lambeau going to pretty much be the guys.
Yeah, we'll just have to see if anybody takes over that job and becomes an everyday player. But it'll probably just be a mix of those guys you just mentioned, and as long as the pitching keeps going the way it is, that'll be fine.
I say Andrew Lambeau, no, nothing imminent, but the way he's been hitting down at AAA, Neil Huntington kind of smiled yesterday when we asked him about it. And Lambeau homered again for Indianapolis. 0-1 the count. Rolled it to short. 6-4-3. So Kelly gets the double play when needed. Mercer hits the ball to the shortstop Cosma. They turned it into 2, and with that nothing going, Morton will go ahead and bat. We're talking about Andrew Lambeau, that home run yesterday. So combined with Altoona and Indianapolis, 28 home runs, 87 RBIs, 287 average, left-hand hitter. The Pirates had acquired him a few years ago from the Dodgers. He is not on the 40-man roster.
If he would have been on the 40-man roster, I think we would have probably got a peek at him before now. To bring him up, they're going to have to make a change. He certainly is putting up the numbers and is deserving of a look. Dotel, is that the trade that brought Lambeau over?
Morton bounces it fair. How about that? Charlie Morton bounces a ball just inside the bag for his first hit since September of 2011.
They got a fastball down the middle. Now that's the pitch we were talking about last at bat that he can get the head of the bat to. It's out over the plate, away from his body. And when you can get the head of the bat to the baseball and put it in play, it will find a hole occasionally. And that time the hole was right down the chalk line. We're starting to look like what we're going to need tonight is a couple of long balls. We need some quick strikes as we're getting further into this game and still down by 4.
And Kelly, as we said earlier, has given up 7 for a guy that has started only 5 games, 26 appearances. So a bit susceptible to that. Strike, he's gotten Marte twice. Kelly, 77 pitches. Checks. Appeal. Nope.
Didn't think they were going to get that one.
2-1. Wow. The Clint Hurdle lookalike almost put a cap on him and give him a couple of sticks of bubble gum.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. He's just like chewing on the gum is all. That's pretty amazing.
Come on now. Let's go.
That is awesome.
3-1. This could be awesome.
You got to get that guy some gum.
Yeah.
What if we start giving some signs out there?
So there you have it. Well, we got the guy that calls himself Fake Pedro behind the Pirates dugout. That guy, maybe he's Fake Herbal. 3-1, 2 outs.
Everybody has a double.
Yep. And In the air to right center field, carrying over Jay's head. Up against the wall, but Charlie Morton is running, and he'll have to hold at third. Probably anybody else scores. It's a double for Marte.
Double play that he got earlier comes in handy right now with that ball going off the wall. Marte, and they're working him downstairs. He burned him that time. Off the wall for 2.
Will Walker now.
They got the clutch hit.
Fired up again.
You're looking for a clutch base hit. You always feel comfortable, don't you, with Neil up there?
Neil loves the ribeyes. Got 2 steaks on the table now.
And get the crowd right back in this ball game. Cut this lead now.
Derek Lilliquist, the pitching coach, pays Kelly a visit. Walker has struck out looking and flied out.
Marte's speed, anything to the outfield is going to score him.
Ball 1. Boy, how about if Walker does anything and McCutchen comes to the plate. 22nd double this season for Starling Marte. Walker looking for a pitch he can drive. One ball, 1 strike. Two and 1.
Really trying to crowd him. Hard inside is the game plan. And when Walker does get balls up and away, he's real good at slapping those balls to left field. Looks like they're trying to avoid that. They want him to try and pull the ball.
Bounces it right side. And Walker is retired. Joe Kelly gets out of it. Head to the 6th. Still 4-0 St. Louis.
reason to smile, and why not? Game's not over just yet. Something unique going on after tonight's game here at PNC Park as the Pirates hold their first ever Faith Night. Guys like Neil Walker, Andrew McCutchen, Jay Bell, Clint Hurdle, and others will stay after the game and talk to fans in the seats about how faith has impacted both their lives and their careers in baseball. Fans will gather in the seats between sections 101 and 107 about 45 minutes after the game and have a chance to hear from the players and coaches. And guys, that's kind of cool. That's something different with baseball.
It is. I know that Clint Hurdle participated in one of those in St. Louis last year. Jay Bell, Neil Walker, a part of it this year. Mike Matheny, as I understand it, asked Clint Hurdle if he wouldn't get involved in their Faith Night last year in St. Louis, and he did just that. Andrew McCutchen has talked about the importance of that. His mom, a gospel singer, and she's going to be singing the anthem, by the way.
There definitely is a theme with this team, Greg, that it's not all about just baseball, that they really care about the quality of life in their own community, and they want to be involved in that sort of thing.
4-3 on the putout.
But right now, we need some runs.
Yeah. Brings up Joe Kelly, the pitcher who has struck out and reached on an infield single. Said he doesn't use his glasses when he bats. Doesn't look for anything off speed. Just tries to look for a fastball or something around the belt anyway that he can swing at. He needs those glasses to pick up the signs.
Got his own blitz on right there. Same charge the mound.
Well, he's got some energy, doesn't he?
I mean, that was kind of unusual approach on that first pitch. He went from the back chalk line to the front chalk line.
Chopper. How about that? Joe Kelly's second hit. Kelly now 3 for 13 at the plate this season. Anaheim, California native. A one-out single. A Baltimore chop, or as they said during the Forbes Field days, a Pittsburgh chop. And the 9th hit for St. Louis.
I prefer pork chops.
Yeah. Matt Carpenter 0 for 3. And once again, Charlie Morton back to the stretch. They have had a base runner, at least a base runner, in 4 of the 6 innings. He retired the Cardinals in order in the first and third frames.
Lead that time by Kelly at first base was about maybe 18 inches. For a guy that's athletic with speed, I expected him to really push off there a long ways. Now that's double how far he was at first pitch.
Bunted toward Alvarez. Two outs. They will give him a sacrifice. 5-3. Here's a tweet to Mark Melanson. Looking forward to Faith Night at PNC Park tonight, immediately after the game against the Cardinals. AT&T tweet from the Pirates closer, Mark Melanson. He too will be involved tonight following this game against the Cardinals. Boy, how cool and calm was Melanson last night in front of a raucous crowd in a one-run game. He took care of Holiday, Freeze, and Descalzo.
I don't think he's ever going to show any kind of emotion out there to where he's going to be rattled at all. He's always an even keel.
There's Carlos Beltran.
Great characteristic for a reliever that's going to be a lot of tough situations.
first pitch now for Morton into the left center field gap. And McCutchen an attempt, but no chance as Beltran doubles in the 5th run for the Cardinals. First extra base hit for St. Louis. They lead it now 5-zip, 10 hits for St. Louis.
They keep adding a little bit every couple innings. They got off to that 1-0 lead, put the crooked number up, and now trying to pull away. Kutch laying out as far as he could. He knew how important that ball was to be caught. Couldn't quite get to it.
Ray Searage out. 57th RBI of the year for Beltran as Gomez gets back up.
This is the second time now Charlie's been over 100 pitches. 102 against the Nationals. That's the most he's thrown this year. His next pitch will be 102.
(1300th) career RBI for Carlos Beltran. Alan Craig. Singled his last time up. Walked and scored in the 4th. He is 2 for 16 on this homestand now. Their road trip, which will continue into Cincinnati. The Reds are off today. 2-0 on Craig. Beltran a 2-out RBI double, and it's 5-0 St. Louis. 2 hopper for the final out. Redbirds add another run, and they lead it 5-0. Presents the road ahead. Tomorrow's pitching matchup: Garrett Cole for the Bucks against Jhoulys Chacín. A couple of lefties on Saturday night, and then on Sunday afternoon, A.J. Burnett against Juan Nicasio. Colorado Rockies, their first trip into Pittsburgh. First time the clubs meet this year. Rockies are 7 below 500 and 9 games off the wild card. So McCutchen leads off.
Yeah, wild card has really had an effect on the trading deadline, hasn't it?
No doubt. Probably the biggest factor why it was slower even than last year in terms of transactions that were made at the deadline yesterday.
Now, back in the old days, there was a very large number of teams that would say, okay, we're done. Let's make some moves, see if we can make our team better for the future. But now at least half the teams in baseball, if not more, at the trading deadline, they consider themselves still in the hunt. It's tough to get them to give up the players.
What's interesting to me, Bob, is some of these teams, they're out of it. I mean, you can see they're out of it. They weren't willing to make trades yesterday. The trades that they try to make now at the end of August, when they try, and these are free agents to be, they're going to try to, you would think, move. They're not going to get what they could have yesterday.
No, because now you're only going to get them for 4 weeks instead of 8 weeks. I agree. It's really odd to see what the thinking that goes on. You know, I guess now I'm more aware of it now because kind of like the shoes on the other foot. We're buyers now, and when you see that there's just not that much out there in the market to buy, it's like, hey, come on, guys, you're not going
anywhere. Let's go.
Yeah, give us one of your good guys.
But as Hurdle said today, some clubs don't come out and say it. But even now, to the Pirates, they say, hey, we want all these guys for the player that you want, and don't forget you guys have lost for 20 straight years. Like, that's a selling point. And so
I've been really surprised. The last couple of years, I guess I've looked at this in a much different way than, say, 5 years ago. And especially this season, because not only do you have these greater number of teams that think they could still have a chance to get to the postseason, but it's a pitching year. So there's not that many hitters out there having good seasons to begin with. And it made it very difficult, I think, for any team, Pirates or anybody else, Cardinals, Reds, whoever you want to bring up, to go out there and really get a impact type guy for their lineup. They weren't available.
And as Hurdle said yesterday, maybe the guys that would make the most impact are in this clubhouse.
Yeah, I thought that was a great point that he made. That if you look at a number of our players, they're not really hitting like they have at other times in their careers, especially long balls for that matter. There's a lot of guys on this roster that are very capable of having 20 home running seasons, have done it in the past. So maybe Clint is right. The improvement is going to come from that clubhouse. We could use some of those long balls tonight. Pedro definitely not one of the players that is down on the power a little bit. Saw Garrett Jones on deck circle. Jonesy's power is down a little this season. He's been a 20 home run guy every year.
Seth Maness is starting to loosen up in the bullpen. Joe Kelly is over the 90 pitch mark. He threw 86 pitches in 6 1/3 innings in Atlanta his last time out. Another way to left. Holiday. One away. Alvarez 0 for 3, flies out to left after McCutchen leads off with a free pass. Kelly trying to get through the 6th inning will face Garrett Jones, who was robbed of a head by Matt Carpenter. His first time up, last time he fouled out. Carpenter robbing Jones of a second inning single. Takes strike one. "27 home runs for Jones last year. He is sitting on 10 right now. He had 21 home runs each of his first 2 seasons with the Bucks. 16 2 years ago.
Garrett not wanting to wait. They called that timeout. Asked for it. Charlie looking on, not too happy with the way the night went.
Kelly out in front 0-2. Charlie Morton, 6 innings, 5 runs, 10 hits. Struck out 5, hit a couple batters. Never really did seem to find his rhythm.
Got to him tonight a little bit by going the other way.
This one high in the air the other way to Holiday.
Holiday quickly getting that ball into second base. And last night, we talked about it a lot at the beginning of the show, where Walker tagged up and went to second. Of course, that ball was very deep. It was back at the edge of the warning track. But on that one, Holiday caught it and was moving backwards. Couldn't get a real strong throw off. That time he wasn't going to be caught by surprise. He quickly fired at the second. Catch one tagging anyway, obviously.
Ball one on Tony Sanchez. Walked in the second, bounced out his last time up. A dozen big league at bats. Ahead 5-0 and throwing to first base with 2 outs in the 6th inning.
Signs that you see, that's what's relayed out to the pitcher if there is a pickoff. There was a period in baseball for, I don't know, 110, 115, 20 years where the pitcher would decide when to throw over.
How many years did that go on? 115 or 120?
That ended in the late 80s, 90s. 110, 15 years. Yeah. When you think about it, when there's runners on base, that adds probably 10 seconds to every pitch. The catcher, he can't do anything, can't give any signs to the pitcher. He's got to wait. He'll look over the dugout. Okay, what do you want us to do? Okay. And we'll look back. Now I can give the signs to the pitcher, and we can get to work.
And now 3-1.
I can remember times, Craig, when I was during my career, that's when that really started happening, when those signs came from the bench. And people were always on me about working too slow. And I can remember out on the mound thinking, everyone's blaming for me, for working slow. I'm standing here, I'm looking for the sign. Nothing's happening.
Not you.
Nothing's happening. It's not my fault.
Of course it's not your fault. I could have told them that.
Yeah, you could have. So that's where I started learning that phrase.
It's not my fault.
It's not my fault.
It's called passing the buck, and you learned it well, Bob.
Yeah.
But it was so. Just so you know, it wasn't Bob's fault that he was
I was
at
ready.
times considered
I'm
slow.
Okay, put something
he was
down.
ready.
Let's go.
Always ready to throw.
But you can see how that happens nowadays.
Yeah,
and it's every team, every kid. The last time I saw a team not do this was when Kendall was catching for the Brewers.
Chopper towards short. Hosmer coming on and on to first. So Joe Kelly pitches 6 innings of 3 hits. Shutout ball, probably done for the night. What a job. 5-0 St. Louis.
Presented by authority of the Pittsburgh Pirates and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Pittsburgh Pirates.
Just a reminder, as you enjoy a cold one, look forward to Miller time later in tonight's game, brought to you by Miller Lite. It is a 5-0 ball game in favor of the St. Louis Cardinals. Mike Matheny, Adam Wainwright with the hugs. Joe Kelly. Kelly goes over 100 pitches. Maybe 100 hugs. Gabby Sanchez takes over at first base. He'll hit in the pitcher's spot.
Ken Marr's numbers on the year. Great season. Been split between the starting rotation and the bullpen. He kind of typifies a lot of the pitchers in our bullpen as jack of all trades. I mean, whatever it needs to be done, Ken Marr's been there to come through, whether it's long man, maybe pitching toward the end of the ball game, or getting those starts. Popular items for sale. They're all over this place. Everybody loves to dress the part when they come to the ballpark. And how about the resurgent kids? They're everywhere now. Really a great thing seeing all the youngsters coming out night after night.
No doubt.
Pirate gear on.
It is great to see. All the black and gold, the t-shirts, the jerseys, the hoodies, the caps.
Just kids everywhere.
Matt Holliday fouls that one off. Yeah, busy over there, no doubt.
young one. Greg, this probably happens to you, and I think Pirates Root Sports does a great job with this. So many times during the day, somebody would come up to me when I'm out and they say that they saw so-and-so at the game. It happens all the time.
Yep.
It's a lot of fun. You have your friends and neighbors and hey, saw you at the game last night. We try to, I think, bring everybody, the fans here at PNC Park, into the broadcast. Even visitors.
And hit to right center field. Matt Holliday has himself another hit.
A breaking ball. Off-speed pitches he's going that way with. It really committing to going the other direction. Look at the location of that last pitch. It was off-speed, away. You try to pull that, that's a ground ball to short.
17th double. Ten hits in the series for Matt Holliday.
Well, that's the Cardinal way this year, as they put up the base hits. They just wear you down with base runners.
David Freese has struck out, singled, has been hit by a pitch. Gomez pitched a couple of scoreless innings in relief of Brandon Compton in the nightcap on Tuesday. 2 hitless innings. Shirts, pom-poms, kids, families. We expect big crowds again this weekend and next week against the Marlins in Miami. They're all over the rotunda. Make sure you go to Pirates.com, get your tickets.
It's a very difficult ticket to get whatever game you want to come see for the rest of the season. Plan ahead.
Time was called. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Two balls, 2 strikes the count. Jean-Marc Gomez has been solid, as Bob said, regardless of his role. Starter or reliever. He's got a 2.01 ERA as a reliever. 8 starts this season, ERA 2.80. Last start was on June 26th. Came over from the Indians over the winter. Full count. And ball 4. Putting 2 aboard for John Jay with nobody out. Cardinals up 5-0. Jeff Bannister runs through some signs.
Yeah, he's the sign guy for the Pirates when they're out on defense. He runs the pickoffs and pitch outs and all that stuff. And some teams it's a bench coach. Some teams it's a manager. I've seen pitching coaches do it even.
Line to the left. Base hit. They'll wave another runner home, and it's 6-0. The Redbirds' offense has come alive. Last night, 13 hits, scored 4 runs, a dozen hits, 6 runs tonight. John Jay on base for the 3rd time, has his 2nd RBI, brings home Matt Holliday, and now the Cardinals trying to pull away.
Now they're leaving town perhaps at the right time. We are getting a little taste tonight of what the Cardinals have done so well this year. Hit with runners in scoring position. They get the men on and they bunch their hits together. And they've had plenty of them to try to bunch. 12 so far. 6+ innings. It's tough to scatter 12 hits in 6+ innings. You're not going to do that.
Line drive left field and a base hit, and that's going to go to the corner. Tony Cruz is going to add a couple more as Marte has trouble picking the ball out of the corner, and that should just about wrap things up for the Cardinals here in the 7th inning. A 2-run double for Cruz. Freeze and Jay score. As that ball just stuck in that corner.
And this will put a little bit of a smile on the Cardinals' face. It definitely hasn't happened so far. Ball hit hard down the corner, got underneath the padding and stayed there. But I think the Cardinals probably are thinking right now, just keep adding on, keep adding on. They want a nice dominating victory. Just to kind of say something back to the Pirates that, hey, you won this round, but we're not going anywhere. And they're not. We know that anyway. This is going to be a very tough battle right down to the closing days of the regular season.
Routed to third, Alvarez. Oh, look out. And no, doesn't get the call. And it'll be an error on Alvarez as he had to pull Gabby Sanchez off the bag with that throw. And Sanchez not able to keep a toe on the bag.
We're definitely leaking oil now, aren't we? Should have been just a routine out, easy ground ball. He took the nice crow hop and just threw it away. Gabby did a nice job coming off the bag, keeping that one out of the stands.
20 errors now on the year for Alvarez. In a little bit of a fielding rut, I might say. Went through a long stretch of games where he was just making every play. A couple of miscues for him here in this homestand. 1 ball, 2 strikes on the pinch hitter Matt Adams, Slippery Rock product.
Still with nobody out here. Setting up shop for a huge inning with 3 already in. And Genmar, at times, since he's been in the bullpen, doesn't really get much work. Hasn't pitched much. He's going to have an extended inning tonight.
And we might see Victor Black get some more work.
Hard throwing young right-hander.
Genmar Gomez, the former Indian, his former teammates won again today. Beat the White Sox 6-1. Justin Masterson was outstanding. Ryan Rayburn, a couple of home runs, drove in 4. Indians have won 13 of 17. They complete a 4-game sweep of the White Sox, keeping the pressure on Detroit. 3-2. Matt Adams.
Kansas City won again this afternoon. Kind of another underdog.
Yeah, what a role their
team
they're
that's
on now. Beat Minnesota 7-2.
Well up over 500, correct?
Backhand throw and not in time. That'll be an infield single for Adams, and the bases are loaded and still nobody out.
Cosmo gets a big secondary lead because there's a runner at second and he can go wherever he wants, and his lead was so big that he had time not only to beat the throw, but he went in standing up, so that means he was able to slow down before he got there and just stop right on top of the bag. A difficult inning here for Genmar. The last couple of balls, you would think he'd get outs on, but infield hit and an error. Three pitches now for Gomez.
Carpenter, fly ball to right. Top it up. And a sacrifice fly makes it 9-0. Cruz scores.
It doesn't take much. I mean, that's been a very quiet dugout, and you can hear over the crowd mic that they're fired up right now.
And you know, they've been getting very frustrated by what's been going on. 7 straight games for the first time in a couple years.
Cardinals are one of those perennial teams that very seldom has any off years. They're always pretty good, and they're not used to any kind of losing streaks like that. That just doesn't happen to them. And you can tell by the reactions that they didn't know how to react a little bit.
About to snap a 6-game losing streak at the hands of these Pirates, because going back to the last 2 games of the series toward the end of April, the Pirates beat the Cardinals by scores of 5-3 and 9-0. And winning the first 4 of this 5-gamer.
This is the second time this year that the Cardinals kind of had a little bump in the road. This one a little bit more significant. We're earlier in the year that they went down to Houston and maybe got swept by the Astros.
I believe, yeah.
I mean, they're having a great year. Obviously, you look at their record, one of the best in baseball, but Hasn't always been this smooth sailing for him, and it never is for anybody.
Last year, Matheny led the club to the wild card, and they went down to Atlanta and beat the Braves at one game wild card playoff after going 88-74. The Cardinals last year. They were a 9 back of the Central Division champion Reds, and then they went to D.C. and played that wild series against the Nationals. Rallied from a 6-0 deficit in Game 5 in the division series and went on to the NLCS. Giants beat them. 3-2 on Beltran. The Cardinals fans that made the trip filled up their scorecard with hits. And ball 4.
And that's going to be it for Genmar. He's thrown 31 pitches. Really has struggled this inning. Didn't get some defensive help that maybe would have helped him out. Wasn't all his fault. Victor Black is going to make his way in, and we'll see the young right-hander.
Gomez exits. Some beautiful shots from our AGH cam once again, but not so beautiful on the scoreboard. A rarity this year, isn't it, to see the Pirates losing a game by this large a margin? Just about every game has been close.
Something that is just odd to watch tonight.
Yeah.
Even the bullpen has gotten involved in this. See Victor Black's numbers. Just 2 appearances. Very hard thrower. The AAA All-Star game this year, Greg. And I think it was Neil Huntington that said that it might have been you that relayed this to me. Threw over 100 miles an hour, 101. It's clocked out. He's got an excellent fastball velocity-wise. He can bring it.
Fighting it out here, huh?
Obviously, the guy on the right.
Pirates winning the first 4.
Hey, no pointing fingers.
Yeah. Craig pops this out of play. 96 miles per hour from Victor Black. His third big league appearance. Worked on Monday against the Cardinals. 3 hits in an inning and gave up a run. Made his big league debut last Thursday. And the Pirates were in Washington. Shows off that breaking pitch. It's 0-2 on Alan Craig.
See Craig's reaction to it. He was leaning back. Get that reaction to that hook when you throw as hard as Victor does. Makes it tough to hang in there on that curveball.
Checks 1 ball, 2 strikes. Tony Sanchez certainly familiar with Victor Black, catching him at AAA most of this season. And like Victor, an all-star. In fact, Tony Sanchez was the International League MVP as he homered in that game, a 3-run homer, and the IL beat the PCL. Tony Sanchez, his second start behind the plate. Before the game, Jeff Bannister, who works with the catchers, and Clint Hurdle, talked about Sanchez's receiving skills, how well he blocks balls in the dirt, how well he works with the pitchers, or as some call it now, calling a game. Two balls, 2 strikes. That's drilled toward left. Way back. Marte. And over his head and just a couple of feet from being a grand slam. It's a 2-run double off the wall and left. And Alan Craig putting an exclamation point on this inning in this ball game.
Well, Craig might be coming out of his slump along with the Cardinals all at the same time. 95-mile-an-hour fastball right down the middle, and the only thing that kept this in is he hit it to the big part of the park out there by the notch. Anywhere else, he's got the home run. With that ball hit, the fence probably about 400 feet away.
Ron Chambers is pinch running at third base. Now Matt Holliday swings for the fences. Chambers runs for Beltran.
It was a good job by Oquendo separating the runners. They were all bunched together as they were coming to third. And he had to let the first 2 go and stop Chambers. And he came real close to touching him, which is a no-no. But it's tough with the, when they're all coming in there at the same time. You don't want anyone to think, okay, I'm sending you, I'm trying to hold you, and we've seen that in the past where you got 2 guys at the same time trying to slide in at home. It's always a little comical.
Good work there by Jose Oquendo as the traffic cop. 1-2 on Holliday. 1 out. A 6-run 7th inning. A laugher for the Cardinals tonight. Matt Holliday, 2 more hits tonight. He's had a big 5-game series.
Rushing that one up there at 97. Kind of becoming the hallmark of that Pirate minor league system. The Big, hard throwers.
First rounder in 2009. End of the bat. Another run in. An RBI for Holiday. A dozen runs on the board.
He doesn't try to pull much, does he?
Very rarely. Holiday now with 51 runs knocked in this season. Blocked there by Tony Sanchez. The big series for Matt Holiday. Big game tonight for the Cardinals. 15 hits. David Freese involved. On base 3 times. A hit by pitch, and a walk. Lines this one to right center field, and they're just up there taking their hacks here. RBI double for Freese. Brings home Craig.
Shot straight up the gap. They're pouring it on.
You think so?
Yep. They're pouring it on.
13-0. John Jay takes ball 1. $13-0. This will mercifully come to an end.
Thank you.
Maybe the biggest cheers of the night. .13 Well, we'll keep it right here. A little take me out to the ball game.
To stand, follow the bouncing Eaton Park Smiley Cookie, and join everyone watching at home on Root Sports as we sing "Take Me Out to the Ball Game."
It's all about the Cardinal offense after an anemic start to this road trip where they lost 3 in Atlanta. Brock Peterson takes over and left. Of course, the Cardinals lost the first 4 in this 5-game series. Chambers stays in the game to play right. And Matt Adams remains in the game at first base. He pinch hit. Pitcher Seth Matus.
37 games for Matus. Pretty nice numbers, except for that opponent batting average up there. Well, on the high side, but he's still kept his ERA low despite that.
Bounce to first. And 1 away. Head and Shoulders and the season of the whiff brings you this performance from Joe Kelly. He had 4 strikeouts.
He pitched extremely well tonight. He had a couple of different things going for strikeout pitches. It was the fastball at times, which can be mid-90s. And I talked earlier about his real good slider, but he also got some strikeouts, some whiffs on the changeup tonight. Fine game for Kelly. We didn't get our first hit until about, what was the 4th inning, I think. Well, we finally got a hit.
Yeah.
Really got
5th.
off to a good start. 5th inning.
Yeah. Jordy Mercer has walked and hit into a double play. The Pirates will end up winning 4 of 5. As there's a nice play by the big man Adams.
You're a joke,
Doing it all tonight are the Cardinals.
Yeah, this won't even register as far as the Pirates are concerned.
They'll shower well.
They'll forget about this before they even hit the showers. It's been an outstanding series against the Cardinals. Nothing can change that. In fact, if you're going to lose big. Go ahead. Get it out of your system. Cole's on the mound tomorrow. They'll be firing BBs up there. This game doesn't really mean a thing.
Look at this. Off the glove, and the glove off the hand.
Now, I wonder if
Yeah, I know.
this was a close game.
Yeah.
I bet you they'd be arguing that.
1, 2, 3 as it turns out. 13-zip Redbirds.
Dick Black has returned to the mound and kind of sounds like a cowboy, has a cowboy name. Would make sense since he's from Amarillo, Texas. He attended Amarillo High, where another man with a cool cowboy name once coached football there. That's right, Bum Phillips, from 1959 to 61, was a high school coach there. Of course, he would go on to coach the old Houston Oilers in the late 70s and once said, quote, "The road to the Super Bowl goes through Pittsburgh." Well, guys, we certainly hope that the road to the playoffs goes through Pittsburgh in baseball this summer, don't you?
Absolutely. No question. Thank you, Dan. As Starling Marte moves to center field, McCutchen will get the rest of the night off. Alex Presley in left. And Josh Harrison now at third. Yeah, that's true. Boy, Michael McHenry, he'll be back strong next year.
We will, I'm sure, see a lot of McHenry. Not like he's not going to be around. Just won't be on the field. We will we'll miss him though out there on the field. No doubt about that.
Josh Harrison, a dive. Ball popped up well over his head.
Knocked the air out of him a little bit. There he goes. He wasn't even really looking at the ball. He was looking down at the dirt. He threw the glove up there just in case. Might go in. Hey, made the effort, that's for sure.
Yep.
That's the way Jay Hay plays the game. 13-0 or not.
Two on Pete Kozma. 1 for 4. RBI single. Strikeout. Well, bad news in terms of the score, of course, but boy, what a 4-game series. Tonight, 31,999. Series total of 129,623. It's the highest 4-date series in PNC Park history. And we believe, you go back to Three River Stadium, maybe the first time ever, they're kind of researching this right now, that the Pirates drew over 30,000 each night, Monday through Thursday. I mean, ever. PNC Park, Three Rivers. A lot of folks have headed out, but still hanging around the rotunda.
And just getting started. This weekend now, this is really when it's going to get packed. The place will be crazy Friday, Saturday, and Sunday.
Ball gets away. Wild pitch.
Tony getting a workout back there tonight. It's always a long night for the catcher. 13 runs, 17 hits on the board. Just noticed something. No more signs to the catcher.
Did we talk about that?
I guess that goes away 13. Yeah, did we talk about it?
It was a long time ago.
It felt like yesterday. We talked about it for 2 innings.
We talked about it tonight, did we?
Yeah.
Oh, all right. Well, just double checking.
Tony's calling his own game. I mean, they always call their own games for pitchers.
Oh yeah, we're calling the games.
Yeah, but I was not looking for the pickoffs or anything like that.
We didn't show that one tweet though.
Oh, about the signs from the catcher.
That's what I was talking about.
No, we never did talk about that. But that was the Cardinals that were doing that.
Yeah.
Cardinals were tonight, just so everyone knows what we're talking about, since I'm starting to wonder if we do. The Cardinals, even with nobody on base tonight, when they were given signs, they were given a series of signs, which you normally do when there's somebody at second base.
Lifted to center, Marte. Just for fun, show you the hose. One hopper to third.
The reason we were talking about that and bringing that up was that usually teams will do that when they're getting a little paranoid about somebody stealing their signs. Like, somebody in the outfield somewhere, maybe up on the Clemente Bridge, who knows.
Yeah.
But I know the Pirates were doing that in Milwaukee. That was a thought that they needed to give a series of signs even when nobody was on base. And we were doing that. Well, the Cardinals were doing that this evening.
Oh boy, another pitch in the dirt.
And we did have there was a tweet about that. A listener was wondering why the Cardinals were doing it.
Watching the game, that tweeter.
Watching very closely.
Yeah,
apparently.
listening and watching.
Did I say listener?
Yes.
Oh.
Pirates will get ready for the Rockies. And they will begin that series unless some miracle happens tonight. The Pirates will be a game and a half up on the Cardinals in the Central. And 5.5 up on Cincinnati. As the Reds and Cardinals will meet in a 3-game series in Cincy starting tomorrow night. And Clint Hurdle's former club, the Rockies, coming to town. An 11-game homestand. The Marlins will follow. Pirates still with the second best home record in the major leagues, behind only Atlanta. And the Bucs started with the best record in all of baseball tonight. Even with this loss, the Pirates will maintain, at least for another day, the very best record in the major leagues. Three and 2 on Matt Carpenter. Carpenter sacrificed fly his last time as Michael Blazek gets ready. And a walk. First for Victor Black. Boy, rough night in terms of ERA for Jeanmar Gomez. He gets 1 out, gives up 4 hits, 7 runs, 6 earned. It's one of the reasons why I hear people say that the ERA is one of the worst stats you can look at for a relief pitcher, as one bad outing can really inflate it.
One bad apple.
Yep.
Runs the whole barrel.
Just looking at Gomez as a great example here.
I agree. I hate it when people look at my ERA. I always say, hey, don't judge me by my ERA. Or any of those other pesky stats.
Yeah, those statistics. Oh, 1 on Chambers. 5 earned for Jeanmar Gomez. There's a fly ball toward left center. Presley. The out. Go to the bottom of the 8th inning. 13-0. It's 11 years. Catch all the second half action in HD quality. Watch every out-of-market game live on more than 350 mobile and connected devices. Visit MLB.tv, MLB.tv, baseball everywhere. $13-0 ball game. They're hanging in there.
All the way to the end.
Yep. They never say die Bucks. They never say die Bucko fans.
We need some base runners is all.
That's all.
That shirt.
Tony Cruz there.
Hole 45.
Tony Cruz will take over at third.
Michael Blazek's 6th appearance on the year. That's kind of a high ERA, up in the 6s, but we won't judge him by that.
Those statistics. All fouled out of play. One and two on Marte. He's 1 out of 3. His little hitting streak up to 5 games.
Got the batting average starting to go back in the correct direction again.
Base hit. Just the 4th of the game for the Pirates, the 2nd for Marte.
Take another look at swing that manufactured that base hit. Ball down and in. You can see by the AGH cam, he just kind of dropped the head of the bat straight down. You can be fairly quick to a good fastball when it's down and in, as opposed to when it's up on your hands a little. Much easier to handle.
Bounce right side. Adams goes to second. Not a bad play there from big first baseman Matt Adams.
He's been light on his feet a couple of times here. Showing some pretty good range. Sums it up. Take a look on Neal's face, kind of shaking his head. Just get the night to the end. Go back tomorrow against the Rockies.
Last time the Pirates lost by a 13-0 score or higher. 3 years ago, you might recall a 20-0 drubbing at the hand of the Milwaukee Brewers. The Pirates lost a 15-0 game to Atlanta in '92.
Really?
Remember that one, Bob?
No. I'm sure you're going to look it up, though, and see if I had a hand.
No, I will not say a word if you had handed it. I wouldn't do that. I don't do that.
It's the only reason you're looking it up.
What?
That's why you.
No, I look it up because I want to see who won. If other players are involved in it, we'll talk about it. Like
Greg immediately dove to the laptop.
That's not true. Come on. No, that's not true.
Look at that big stink bug. Not that time of year again, is it?
I hope not. There's a guy over by the right side of the infield, over by first base, who is familiar with that 1992 loss, a 15-0 game. Jeff Kellogg.
He was umpiring.
He was there. $15-0 against Atlanta.
What was the date again? We just know it was 92.
August 14th.
August 14th. At this time of year.
It was in Pittsburgh at Three Rivers. Lonnie Smith went 5 for 6, drove in 6. Hit a grand slam.
Now you got me worried.
No, you weren't involved.
Lonnie owed me.
You weren't. It was Zane Smith started and got knocked around. Then Roger Mason took a big hit, gave the bullpen a rest, went 5 2/3, gave up 9, 8 earned.
Pirates only used 3 pitchers.
Yeah. Steve Cook finished up. But Jeff Kellogg was the first base umpire that night. Jay Bell had one of the Pirates' 6 hits. Josh Harrison at the plate. Two and 1 on Harrison. Alvarez was 0 for 3. The Pirates have only 4 hits tonight. They've been out hit 17-4. By the way, that game in 1992 when they lost 15-0, they were out hit 22-6. Harrison toward right. Approaching the wall, but the catch made by Chambers. And that'll do it. The shutout still intact for the Cardinals. The game for Pirates postgame presented by Allegheny Health Network. Get an in-depth recap of tonight's game against the Cardinals. Hear Clint Hurdle's postgame analysis and much more. It's all coming up next here on Root Sports. Stick around for Rob and Teak to hear how they break this one down as we go to the ninth. Victor Black. Last time the Pirates lost a 13-0 game to the Cardinals was in St. Louis, May 9th, 1981.
I wasn't there. I don't have to worry about that.
No, you weren't. Rod Scurry started that game, gave up 7 runs, 5 innings, and then a couple of relievers followed.
I didn't even know that Rod started any games. Huh.
And you know who was the first base umpire that night?
Kellogg.
Bruce Fleming.
We run in the Bruce in Milwaukee every now and again.
Yep.
Always comes by, says hi. Seems much less grumpy now that he's retired.
Fly ball to center. Marte with the catch. Jake Westbrook, we were talking about maybe the fact that Charlie Morton having trouble against a certain club, and it's probably the Cardinals. You don't have to ask Jake Westbrook. His nemesis is the Pirates.
For sure.
1 and 8 lifetime against the Pirates. Adam Wainwright between him and Holiday. Wainwright went 7 innings, gave up 4 runs last night. The Pirates came back. They beat Trevor Rosenthal.
Everybody's got a team that they can't handle. Definitely might be Charlie's team.
Right to second. Hard hit. Rob Johnson is retired. Daniel Descalzo will pinch hit for the pitcher Blazek here in the ninth. So Victor Black finishing things up here for Clint Hurdle as Jeanmar Gomez got just 1 out in the 7th. Black giving him some length. Always important with games coming up. Try and save that bullpen. Gomez was hoping to do it. Victor Black picking him up. Bullpen saved for the most part for another day.
Tough day for the pen, though. This has to be the worst day for the bullpen all year, stat-wise.
I would think so, yeah. Gabby Sanchez will toss to Black. Play goes 3-1 to the bottom of the ninth. Pirates need a bunch. 31, nearly 32,000.
See a rally hat.
Yep, she's got the rally hat on. They've got the rally towel going, and the Bob Walk bright fluorescent type shirts. As Descalzo stays in the game to play second. The new pitcher is their closer to get some work, Edward Mojica. Did not have an opportunity to pitch in this series.
He had been well rested. Mojica has.
Rally hats, Pirate Parrot hat. And Barmas bats for black. Let's see if they can at least break the shutout, huh? What do you think, Bob? Try and break this shutout?
Doesn't matter, Greg. It's 13-0.
You don't want to be shut out. It's all part of these statistics. Come on.
Yeah, we don't want to be shut out. Let's go.
That wasn't very sincere, Bob.
I know. I used all my enthusiasm last night.
Mojica takes quick care of Barmas.
Enthusiasm like pitches. You got to conserve them.
Oh,
it'll be efficient.
Okay.
There you go.
See the
they believe.
AT&T tweets scrolled across there. Keep rolling, Pirates.
They will.
I'll take 4 out of 5 for the Cardinals.
This is no big deal tonight.
Well,
no
think about it. I mean, really,
all.
as we go back 4 days, when we started this series on Monday, the talk was just don't get swept. Don't get swept by the Cardinals. You know, win 1, maybe 2. There's a shot for Tony Sanchez, a base hit.
Well, I was realistically, I was thinking somebody's going to win 3, somebody's going to win 2, and it's not going to be that big of a difference to either team. But the Pirates made it a big difference by taking 4, and that made it significant.
Pirates will lead the division by a game and a half come tomorrow morning.
If I was the Cardinals right now, I'd be playing no doubles, Greg.
I know.
Trying to preserve the shutout.
Yep. Got Tabata.
Well, why aren't they guarding the line at third?
I don't know. We'll have to ask Mike Matheny.
It's a ball down the line in the corner. Shutout's gone.
Yep. Cardinals would not want that to happen. They're looking for their 10th shutout of the season. Kutch has the dreads out now as he is out of the ball game. Tonight, McCutchen was 0 for 2 with a walk. Pirates with just 5 hits.
Kind of neat that he's kind of hanging out in the
Yeah,
dugout.
yeah.
Back in the day when the Star came out of the ball game in a blowout, he's in the shower. Kutch staying right there with his mates. Still a lot of smiles on the Pirate fans' faces. I think that
Shallow right, might that drop? No.
you know what I mean, Greg? The fans that are here,
they know the whole program here.
Nobody is feeling bad about tonight.
Winning 4 out of 5 in a series again is the whole point. Yeah, the sweep would have been fun. He's not thrilled.
He wants the shutout broke. He's got the rally hat on.
Yep. And he's sticking around, even though his man is out of the ball game. Pedro. I know a lot of look-alike fans that would have left. But he's sticking around with his mates. Jordy Mercer takes a strike.
Greg,
what is that? What are you doing? Oh, the stink bug is back.
They're back. I'm telling you, it's going to be a big year for them.
This is a war we just cannot win. Don't shoot it down to the fans below, please. What a nice thing to do. Sorry, he didn't mean that. Oh, it's right on the head of the young kid. Sorry about that. That was Bob. Jeez,
they have
Bob.
Wings, Greg. They fly.
When you flick them, it takes them a while to recover. Believe me. I do that all the time. They don't fly right away. They're not real smart. If you do that, they land, then they recover, and then they get going again.
How do stink bugs survive?
I don't know.
They
awful.
have no defense. They aren't, like you say, they're not very smart.
Nope.
But they thrive. I don't get it. Thrive.
It's just terrible.
What's the score?
You gonna call it a stinker?
You on TV tomorrow?
Are you? That'll do it.
We'll find out tomorrow.
13-0 final.
All right, Cardinals, get out of here. We'll see you again.
Yep. Take 4 out of 5, and the Pirates in the season series, by the way, are 7-3 now against the Cardinals, who blanked the Pirates. Bucks are shut out for the 8th time this season. Big night for the Cardinal offense, out hitting the Pirates 17-5. The Bucks settle for winning 4 of 5 against the Redbirds, and they lead the Cardinals by a game and a half in the National League Central. Alan Craig is our Honda player of the game. 2 for 4, double, couple of ribbies, couple of runs scored, nearly homered off the wall in the 7th. Alan Craig was on base 3 times, scored a couple of runs. And Mike Matheny's club comes away with a victory, and they end their 7-game losing streak, the longest losing streak under Mike Matheny. So the final score tonight, 13-0. And for more analysis on this one, let's go to Robin T.